You are here with By the Cover. Today I'll be reviewing If It Bleeds by Stephen King. I would rate this collection a 5 out of 10. This review may contain spoilers, so if you do not want to hear those, click off now. The synopsis. If It Bleeds is a collection of 4 gripping novellas: Mr. Harrigan's Phone, The Life of Chuck, Rat, and the title story If It Bleeds. Together, these stories explore themes of grief, morality, technological curses, and the sinister bargains we make to achieve our goals. First up is Mr. Harrigan's Phone, which I rated a 9.5 out of 10. The story follows a young boy named Craig who befriends a wealthy, elderly, recluse man named Mr. Harrigan. This story was a feel-good story from beginning to end, putting King on his best foot, nostalgia. The story makes you feel like you're in a sunny summer day with a light breeze. I liked King's approach to making an interesting point about technology, and I liked that the story had the primary character struggling with a friend dying as he was growing up. This one made me tear up in a few places. The only parts that I disliked in the story were when King would give away what happened later in the story. This is just something King does. He can't help it. Sometimes he just has to shoot himself in the foot. But otherwise, I really like the story. Next is The Life of Chuck, which I rated a 1 out of 10. The story explores the extraordinary within an ordinary man's life. The story is told in reverse and chronicles portions of Charles Chuck Krantz' life. I did not connect with this story at all. I thought Act 1 of this story was the most interesting part. It was pretty imaginative. The rest of the story, however, I found very, very boring. It's a story about an accountant who likes to dance. I've not seen the movie yet, but I would be interested in doing so to see if they made anything good out of this one. Next is If It Bleeds, which I rated a 5.5 out of 10. The story follows Holly Gibney as she battles a new challenging foe. I personally refer to If It Bleeds as The Outsider Light. This story takes place after The Outsider and is pretty much a rehashing of the ideas in that book, with the addition of some Holly family drama. The story meanders more than The Outsider's plot, though, with a less focused narrative, even though it's a shorter story. Jerome and his sister are players in the story. Around 30 pages of the 200 were great. The rest was just okay. In my opinion, this is where the Holly Gibney stories start to decline in quality, with the subsequent books being Holly and Never Flinch. Next up is Rat, which I rated a 4 out of 10. A frustrated English professor and short story writer seeks solitude in a remote family cabin in Maine to finally finish his novel. When challenges strike, he starts bargaining with a talking rat. The story starts out with Stephen King's most repetitive trope: stories about people writing books. I roll my eyes every time Stephen King does this. You would think half of the state of Maine did nothing but write books, according to Stephen King. The other thing I find funny is the high stakes that King tries to involve. Like this is that character's last chance to write the book that he's never gotten to. Sorry, but there is almost no scenario in real life that it's your last chance to write a book. I just cannot take that premise seriously. When the primary character reaches the cabin, the story at least gets interesting. However, the ending was one of the dumbest I have ever read. With this collection, I think the average is just middle of the road, sitting at 5. This certainly is not one of Stephen King's best collections, but it does have a few moments that shine. That's about it. We'll catch you later.